What's up, Shelf Addicts? Welcome back to the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Today on Book Chat, we are continuing our reread of the Mercy Thompson series written by Patricia Briggs. This episode, we are covering Book 4, Bone Crossed. Stay tuned. Today's episode is sponsored in part by audiobooks.com. Audiobooks.com now has 175,000 titles and 1.2 million podcasts. New customers get 3 free audiobooks comprised of 1 premium credit and 2 VIP titles. Use our promo code SHELFADDICTION, spelled as one word, when you sign up at audiobooks.com. Again, our promo code is SHELFADDICTION. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's topic. You can always find me and Casey on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, we've got a lot to talk about today, everybody, so we are going to jump right on it. Joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! Because we are rounding out our first set of rereads of the Mercy Thompson series. So we are doing book 4 today. Woohoo!
Yes.
So we're going to do the rundown of the stats and the synopsis like we do, and then we will jump right into the conversations. We have housekeeping. So I kind of tricked you, not on purpose. So we got a little bit of housekeeping, then we'll talk Mercy. We need a little bit of help over here at Shelf Addiction. Mm-hmm. And if you are a fan of the show, you like what we do here, we would love to have you volunteer to help us out with our groups.
Yes, the social media groups, the Facebook groups, the book clubs group, the Discord group.
Yes.
We need some help from you guys, our fans, who we love and adore. And hopefully you love and adore us back. We need your help. We need you to help moderate our groups.
Yes, it's a very important role. We are really trying to take our groups to the next level and be amazing. You know, it's hundreds of you in these groups, and we need a little bit more help. I know I try to do everything, but I cannot. We try, but we need some help.
We try, but
if
we
you
need
would
help,
like
yes.
to volunteer to moderate Facebook, Discord, or on the book clubs app, please reach out to me. You can find me through the Facebook group and message me there. Same on book clubs. You can message me there, or you can email me at info@shelfaddiction.com and let me know why you're interested and all that stuff. And we can chat. We'll talk. We'll talk and see what we can work out. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's time to add some fresh blood to the Shelf Addiction team, and we are excited for whoever will join us, though.
Yes, it will be so much fun.
Yeah, I think so. Also, we just want to remind you, or not remind you, kind of tell you. So obviously this is book 4. So the series is 13 books long right now, but we are going to pause after this. So we kind of hit this hard for 4 weeks, and now we're going to take a little break and we'll revisit.
We are going to go read book number 13. So look along for that read along coming next week.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
next week.
So we're jumping from book 4 to book 13.
Yes.
But we will come back to book 5 after a hot minute. We need a little bit of a break from Mercy.
So
we love
fans,
her, but
the fans that are listening that have read all these books, we are talking about the latest book next week. So be sure to check that episode out, because I know you want to hear what we have to say on that. Today, we are reading Bone Crossed by Patricia Briggs, published February 5th, 2009 by Ace and Penguin Audio. The paperback is 300 pages, and the audiobook is 9 hours and 7 minutes. It's narrated by Lorelei King. Casey, would you please read the synopsis?
Yes. Welcome to Patricia Briggs' world, a place where witches, vampires, werewolves, and shapeshifters live side by ordinary people. It takes a very unusual woman to call it home, and there's no one quite like Mercy Thompson. By day, Mercy is a car mechanic in the sprawling Tri-Cities of eastern Washington. By night, she explores her preternatural side. As a shapeshifter with some unique talents, Mercy has often found herself having to maintain a tenuous harmony between the human and the not-so-human. This time, she may get more than she bargained for. Mercilia, the local vampire queen, has learned that Mercy crossed her by slaying a member of her clan, and she's out for blood. But since Mercy is protected from direct reprisal by the werewolf pack and her close relationship with its sexy alpha, it won't be Mercy's blood Mercilia is after. It will be her friends.
Woohoo. Okay.
Ooh. So, high level, what did you think of this book, rereading it?
I liked it. I think I don't remember. Okay, let me put it this way. So obviously I gave it glowing reviews, but this time around I didn't feel that glowiness about it. I don't know why. I mean, it was fine. It was good. You know, some stuff happened. Important stuff happened that we needed. But when it was done, I kind of was like, oh, thank goodness we're done. I can talk about it. And it could be a side effect of just kind of being almost burnt out right now. It could be a side effect of that. I don't know. What about you?
I thought it was really dark and creepy. I also realized I had forgotten most of this plotline. Like, I knew it was about ghosts, and that was it. Like, I had forgotten about James Blackwood. I'd forgotten really about the vampires and all of that shit. And I know you had said last time when you saw Patricia Briggs at the signing, she said this was basically a continuation of Iron Kiss.
Yes.
And I see it more as like just a continuation of the first 3 books.
Yes.
Like, there was so much in this book that was just accumulation of everything Mercy has been going through. These first 4 books are all intertwined in ways that I had honestly, again, completely forgotten about.
Yeah, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of connections here. And that's good, you know? Because it brings us back around. I know there was a couple of things in here that I really made some notes, and I'm like, Mercy, dang, girl, you are dumb. I'm like, Mercy, why are you so stupid in this book right now? But you know, that's typical Mercy. Like, she is very self-deprecating. She always has been. And I don't think she ever fully gets out of it. She's always questioning herself. She's always questioning. And it's weird. She'll question some things and then just act in other things. And then later or after, well, maybe I should have asked some questions.
Yeah.
So she does a lot of that. And it really stands out to me in this book. And I'm like, girl, only because I know it works out was I not that mad about it. But I did notice more than ever in this book that she does that a lot.
Yeah. That's her personality in a way. And it is, you know, she is dealing with trauma. She's dealing with PTSD. Her brain isn't as consistent right now. But you're right. Like, this is just who she is. And she really should have talked to Adam before she agreed to some of this shit. And I know she's a strong, independent woman who's lived by herself for the last, 10, 11, 12 years or whatever. Like, she's used to being on her own. She's used to being rejected by people. She's used to, you know, people only tolerating her until she's not necessary anymore. When that piled on top of the current trauma just makes for messy brain thoughts.
Absolutely. And it also, again, the author does a good job kind of reinforcing why Adam is a good match for her in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Because, later in the book, while they're at, dealing with Marcelia, he says, basically Mercy is her own person. She does what she wants for as long as she wants. He defends that, right? He knows who she is at her core, and he understands he's not going to be able to change her. And he kind of chooses to be more calm about the things that she ends up telling him that she does. And I appreciate that about his character. But again, Mercy always scraped by the skin of her teeth. Like she does an action, and then here comes the resolution. Okay, so let's just talk about it. She let Stefan make her a sheep. Yeah, she is a sheep of his, or a person that belongs to him. And she doesn't know the full implication of that at the time that she does it. All she knows is, rather you than Blackwood.
Who, to be fair at that point, had bitten her twice without her knowledge.
No, I'm not saying her reasoning is bad. I'm saying that she doesn't think 2 steps ahead ever. Because at that point, you're already made it to your man, right? You already made it. You're tied to this pack. And you don't know the repercussions of doing that. What happens if? Can he call the pack through me? Can he make other things happen? And of course, it comes back where Stefan's like, well, no, we found that. We tried it. It doesn't work. So again, like there's no real danger of the bad choices she's doing, which kind of irritated me a little bit. Like, not that I want bad things to happen, right? She's had a lot of bad things happen to her, but I feel like you have to be in a different mindset when you're responsible for so many people. And even with the trauma she's trying to deal with, she's not thinking that way at all, not even a little bit. She's in like self-preservation mode. So
yes, she definitely is in preservation mode. And to be fair, again, you're completely right. But to be fair, she's not used to having the whole pack right there. And she still has that moment later when she opens herself up to the pack and it literally knocks her unconscious.
I know.
And I don't think until that moment she really truly realized how deeply connected she was to the pack. Because back when Stefan was biting her, she was more in that mindset of, I need to save myself. I don't think I can trust anybody else to save me. Adam's there, but I don't know. She just didn't trust Adam. She didn't trust the bond. She didn't trust the pack.
And that comes out.
So yes, no, you're absolutely right. Like she's not thinking ahead. She's not taking a step back and talking with Adam. Like, what does this mean? What choice should I make? And yeah, you're absolutely right. Because she just doesn't know
those things
pack.
kind of irritate me a little bit, only because, like, okay, and I've never been in a situation, obviously none of us have, because those monsters are fake and those cups are fake. But, in that level of fear, right? I've never been in that high level of self-preservation like that. But you're grown. You're not 21 or 25. You're grown. You're making
She's 31.
Right. You're making adult
32
decisions. And I'd like to think that if Blackwood bit me, I'd want to make sure he could not get me. I would. But your cell phone is right there. Your cell phone
that is true.
Is right there. Let's just talk this out on the phone real fast before I do this.
That would be the smart thing to do. That would be the logical thing to do, is get Adam on the phone and be like, this is what's going on. And she didn't even tell Adam about the bites until she was driving home.
Yeah. And she only told him because he basically caught her. He's like, what is going on? I can tell something is wrong. Your panic woke me up.
I feel it through the bond. Right. What is going on?
Right. So only when she was forced, essentially, quote unquote, into telling does she tell. And it's like, why in this earth would you make someone that you do not trust? Although it is clarified later that really it's her own issue. She doesn't trust because of how she felt she was treated by other people. Which she does seem to get past that, but we know she's going to backstep. We know it. because that's just how this character is. But for once, I got that satisfaction at the end that she was actually open and accepting and ready to move forward, and that limiting belief was finally kind of squashed for now.
Yes.
So I don't know. That was my biggest problem with Mercy in this book. I'm like, why? That's such an intimate thing, what she had done. You know, it's like, you belong to someone?
It's almost like a kind of mate bond.
Yeah.
Like, he is in her brain. They've exchanged blood. She can call him anytime, you know? It is a little possessive. It's a little, not quite romantic, but it could lead to romance. And we know from book 2 that Stefan is in love with her. We know that if Adam didn't exist, she might have maybe looked at him at some point. Like,
no, we know in this book how Stefan feels about her. Like, he was so angry with Marsilia. He has expressed, and at the very end of this book, he basically says, I'm pissed off and I'll come back when I feel like it, you know, because, and Marsilia's like, you know what? It's only because of Stefan you're alive. And if I could kill you, I would. And she like, back
but
at
he
you.
would never figure that.
But yeah, he would never, ever come back. He would never speak to her again. And that...
I think he might kill her.
He might.
If she killed Mercy, he would kill her. After everything she did. So Marsilia is... We think she's batshit crazy. All of her vampires say she's crazy, she's insane, that she's not the same anymore, that she's not paying attention. They want to band together and kill her and take over the Seath because they're power-hungry vampires.
Right.
Well, turns out, no, she is very much aware of what is happening. And her plan to get rid of them is so...
convoluted.
Fucked up. Fucked up. Horrific.
It's next level, this plan that she had.
I'm in awe of her and also very terrified of her. And also just like, damn.
The level of commitment to that plan. It's like, that's a lot of work, and it was a big risk. And she just mistakenly thought, well, I could do all this shit to Stefan and his people, and trick him essentially, and then give him a letter explaining it, and he should just be fine. You'll be good.
So this plan starts back in Bloodbound, when the demon-ridden vampire warlock was created and Marsilia hired Mercy to go get rid of him. Mercy did. Mercy also killed Andre, and we thought Marsilia didn't want that. Turns out she did want that to happen because she knew Andre was the leader trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
So, wow. Just did not see that plot twist coming, but that was what she wanted to do.
So is that another person who assumes Mercy will do what the fuck she wants and not what you say?
Probably. It's also just kind of that nudge to be like, hey, I know this woman likes to protect humanity. This is a person who could destroy humanity. Let me just kind of nudge her in that direction, and Mercy's going to do what Mercy's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's what Mercy did.
Yeah.
And then, so Marsilia took Stefan and tortured him nearly to the point of death. She
kicked him out of the sea, basically.
She supposedly killed off all of his sheep, which he very much loves and adores all of his people. He takes good care of them. But she killed them day by day, breaking him. She refused to ever feed him. She burned him. He looked like a crusty marshmallow.
Yeah. Like a black thing.
The thing you see at the bottom of your toaster, that's what he looked like when he was dropped into Mercy's house. And Marsilia hoped that he would have killed Mercy right then and there, but he didn't. No. Because he loves her so much.
And thankfully, the wolves were there. So the wolves stepped up because they owed him, right, for that whole fiasco when they were being held.
In book 2.
Yes. So because of that, they gave him blood. So, Mercy was going to, and they're like, no, he's doing.
Not you, Mercy.
Right, we'll do it. And I mean, several wolves stepped up and helped with that. So, yeah, it worked out. It worked out for her because Marsilia, she really wanted her dead. And she was really hoping she could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but it didn't work.
So everybody thinks that Marsilia hates Stefan, that she broke him, she kicked him out of the Seath, there's no lost love between them. So the bad vamps approach him and they're like, hey, why don't you help us kill her?
Right.
But Stefan is loyal to a fault. He is loyal to his detriment.
Yes.
He refused to help them.
Yeah.
And so then Marsilia brought everybody together at the Vampire Council and had Stefan witness the fact that these other vampires were trying to take her out. Because he was no longer part of the Seath, so therefore his witnessing was unencumbered.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming from her. It was his
legit,
own.
Right? Because
Yeah,
it made it more official where there was no question.
Yeah, he was not part of the Seath, so he couldn't be protecting her. And that's when he realized that's what she had done.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was just...
He was like... Death.
Broken, betrayed.
Scared. Yeah, he was sad.
Ugh.
He felt bad. But the whole time, though, he was there, like, really because protecting Mercy again. Like... she had to call him while she was there. And she did, and he came, but I think he was just really, like, shocked at all the stuff that he didn't see it coming.
No.
Yeah. So then to find out later, that it was all fake. It was all, like, not fake, but planned. And those people, I guess it was good that she didn't physically kill them, but she did harm them and make them think that the bonds were broken. So,
which is traumatic for everybody. Like, it's not death traumatic, but it is still violent and traumatic. And here she is going, don't you just love me? What? You're loyal to me. Won't you come back to me? I love you. Come back.
Crazy.
You're crazy.
Exactly. And then to take it like one step further, so we already know her wish was that he would just kill Mercy. But beyond that, because he was so lonely, while he was like kind of healing, he went to Adam's house to kind of like heal, and they had him locked up in the basement. While he's doing that, he's like has this extreme sadness, right? And he felt alone, and he knew there was one blood bond that he had, and he was like unconsciously kind of like taking over and pulling Mercy. And Adam is like, he freaks out, and instantly in that spot, in that moment, that is when they, solidify their bond. And he brings her into the pack. Well, he brought her into the pack, and then later the bond snaps in. But so he brings her into the pack, and of course everyone is like, the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Everyone's losing their shit, and Mercy again, no real thought, but she's like, yep, I'll do it. I know that Stefan's calling me, something's happening, and I don't want that. So, bet, let's do it.
And this happens before he takes over Mercy.
Yes.
So the mate bond happens kind of at the beginning of the story because Stefan's, he's broken, he's upset, he thinks everybody's lost, this is the only bond he still has, and it flips Adam out. Adam's like, no, I will help him any way I can, but he can't have you, you're mine. So mate bond, instantly.
Yes.
And then, 5 chapters later, or whatever it is, Mercy's like, okay, let me bond with Stefan because that's what I need. No, honey. You need to call your mate. You need to talk to Adam before you just make these decisions.
No, she's just like, and I guess only because she is Coyote and the magic is so unreliable with her. You know, these things happen. Like no one actually, Adam says, I didn't actually think you'd actually be in the pack. Like
I thought it was just the mate bond, but nope, the pack bond came right in.
Yes. He's like, I didn't know that would happen. You know, with humans it doesn't happen, but you know, she's such an oddball. And so like I guess she can have multiple bonds and do it's messy. But I must say I was glad that at the end the bond between her and Stefan was broken. Because I was like, that is something we don't need to keep going with.
No, that needs to be broken. That needs to be dissolved. I was ready for Bran to try and come in and dissolve it, or maybe Z with the Fae something, or, you know, Stefan said Wolf might be able to break it. I don't trust Wolf. Mercy doesn't trust Wolf, but I was like, something needs to happen for it to break.
Yes.
And thankfully, although horrifically, James Blackwood comes back and bites Mercy again and breaks the bond. And then he dies. So,
and you know, I love that she kind of saved that for the end. Like, but it was a very fast takedown of him. Like, once things got moving, it was like, oh, he dead. All of that. Like, he was running amok the whole book and then just dead, just like that. Like, dang. Okay, well, had to happen, I guess, like that. Whatever. It makes sense though, because you know, of course, the walking stick. Let's mention our favorite character.
Do you want to take a quick break first and then get into the walking stick?
Oh, look at you! Look at you producing me. Casey is producing me, y'all. Did y'all notice that?
Sorry,
he's producing me today.
At the time,
she tried to keep me on track. Bam. It's
I
okay.
thought we were kind of coming down to a good end point, and then we could shift in to the next conversation.
Lord have mercy. Yes. Okay. Good point. All right. We'll take a quick break right now, you guys. Go ahead and check out the commercials by listening to those you are supporting the podcast. And also, while you're at it, please check out the Amazon links and check out the book review notebook and journal available now. Stay with us. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, we're back. We're going to finish this conversation and hopefully we won't take too long to do it. We'll see how we do. Here, you kick off the next part.
Well, now that we've talked about one vampire, let's shift gears to the monster, the other vampire of this book, James Blackwood or Jim Blackwood. I don't remember which one his real name is. So he's a very powerful vampire who has controlled all of Eugene, Portland. What city is
like
it?
One whole city. He just has it's his region or whatever. It's his place.
There's no fae. There's no other vampires. There's no werewolves. There's no other creatures at all in that area. But he controls it, and nobody really knows how or why.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is one scary motherfucker. I will say that.
And you know what? When it comes out, I did forget this part. So when we are introduced to him, we knew about him going there. But when Mercy first sees him, she's like, God damn it. What kind of luck is this? I walk into my friend's house to go do some ghost busting. And here's this MFer right here. And she's trying to be little, not little, but, trying to make him find her less interesting. So all the things. And she's like, oh my God. And of course, this guy is the worst, the absolute worst. He is biting the family, having sex with the mother, biting Mercy in her sleep. And she doesn't remember. Oh, he's so awful. And so
creepy.
He bites her twice. And that was the thing that triggered her to do the action that we talked about earlier. Like, oh no, he bit me twice and I didn't even know it. And so, yeah. So anyway, anywho, let's I just want to talk about like him having the Fae and stuff in his basement. Let's talk about that.
So his maker told him, "You are what you eat." Yeah. Which is such an innocuous line. Everybody uses that line all the time. And he took it to the next level and he started eating other creatures. So not just human blood, but he started eating fae creatures. He started eating other vampire creatures.
He ate his
maker. He ate a walker. He had the walker for 60 years, I think he said, or 50 years, and it was 60. So he had a walker for a long time. So he was able to use that power to control ghosts.
Yeah.
He had a fae in his basement that he fed off of and was able to be awake during the daylight.
It was
which is, unheard of.
Wasn't it like an oak man? Oak man, oak man fae, yeah.
And yeah, no, he was one scary motherfucker because he could also create zombies. He could control the ghosts when he had the walker blood. He could walk around, not quite in the sunlight, but sunlight is supposed to kill vampires,
right?
And it wasn't working for him.
No, not in the traditional way. Yeah, that was wild. And the whole zombie thing really just took the cake on top of that because poor Amber, wasn't that the girl's name, the woman's name?
Amber.
That was the friend who, originally called her to, please help me with these ghosts. He's got her cooking and basically keeping her own family prisoner, watching them, doing the most. And then eventually it's like Mercy remembers or kind of figures out that, hey, I'm going to try. She's dead. I can tell the dead what to do. That was the best scene. She's like, Amber, give me the keys. she says
and Amber almost did it.
Almost did it. She had like forced in her voice. And she's like, okay. So when she tries the next time, I think she kind of like pulls on like Adam, like she's channeling Adam. Yes. So she's like, Amber, you're dead. She's like, you're dead. And she tells her a couple times and the woman just drops dead. Like, damn. Well, she was dead, though.
She was dead, but she did, like, her soul wanted to stay and protect her son. So even though she's controlled by the vampire and not protecting her son, once Mercy says, I will protect him, he is safe, you can go, then the soul is like, skedaddling, getting out of here.
Yeah, she had to order her, like, 2 or 3 times she said you're dead before she dropped, though. It took her, but she did it. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just ordered that woman to die. Like, you're dead.
So Mercy can kill zombies.
Yes.
That's a really cool fact.
Yes. And of course, she's talking to the ghost in there and she's figuring out, what the ghost was, who the ghost was that was haunting the family. And it was wild. So the haunting was interesting.
Very scary, creepy ghosts from hundreds of years ago.
I know.
And they're demented and ugh.
And the one ghost, he's like so jealous of the little boy. He's like, he has all the toys. He has the truck. He has, he's very jealous. I'm like, what the?
Well, if you've been dead for like 200 years, you never had anything before, you really don't have anything now, all you can do is stew in your hatred. And, there's a lot of evil and hatred around. So it's just compounding until it's jealous, murderous rage.
Yeah, and it just elevated and elevated. It's like by the time, Mercy left in that she was only there a few days. So when she came, the ghosts were doing things like knocking over bookshelves and moving things
throwing
around.
Food out of the fridge and turning on the water.
So pretty, stuff that won't really kill anyone. But the last night she's there, it's like some poltergeist shit going on. Like, it's cold. I thought of that movie where everything was frozen. I'm like, it's freezing in the house. Like, she had to like basically break down the door with Stefan to get in there. And the kid's like on the bed, frozen. And like, what the? There's some crazy horror movie stuff right here going on. Next level stuff. But once they
terrifying.
Yeah, once they pulled the kid, it's like it just stopped. It's like it was just gone. It was wild. But after that, of course, the husband's like, okay, we're going to pack our bags and get the fuck out of here. Where's the hotel? We got to go.
I believe in ghosts now. I believe.
So the ghosts were wild, though. Even there wasn't there a vampire ghost, too? The woman?
The older woman. She was the vampire who was James's maker. And she had a really nifty power that was she could touch you and you would die.
Yes. What a power.
Ugh.
Does that mean she didn't ever get any because she touched people when they die?
Well, did it work on vampires? Because if they're feeding from her, she's touching them, right?
Yeah.
Or is she like dropping blood in a cup? And I don't know.
Maybe it just
But I
works
don't
for
think
humans.
she would get any.
No, yeah, it's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. And she was but I thought she was in ghost form because he ate her. Didn't he eat her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, so she was a ghost.
Yeah.
But as a ghost, she was still very conscious and she could eat with her ghostly form.
Yeah.
And as soon as she got blood willingly, then she can kill you by touching you.
And that's the trick. You have to willingly get the blood. And then ultimately she tricked Blackwood. She's like, I'll kill her for you. Just let me drink your blood. He's like, okay.
I think she wanted to. I think she was going to kill Mercy for him.
Yeah.
But Mercy chopped his head off before.
Oh my God. Right.
So Mercy has now killed 3 vampires.
Oh yeah. She's getting good at it. She's a pro.
She's getting really good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like we were mentioning before the commercial break, our favorite walking stick did make an appearance.
It did.
And we learned from the Oak Man, Faye, that he has a service for her. He wants to, or it wants to repay her, and it likes her. It just genuinely likes her. So it kept appearing, and she handed it over to the Fae because Mercy keeps trying to give it away. And he used it to as a trident spear thing.
Mm-hmm.
He threw it and impaled the vampire, James, leaving him on the floor so Mercy could go chop his head off.
Yes. It was like a real fast 1, 2, 3, bam, 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 done. It's like, oh, he's gone now. And then, of course, she calls someone for help. She calls Adam. And then Adam's like, we're on our way.
Because she had called Stefan at one point because she was hoping the bond was still working, but the bond was broken.
Yeah.
But she had the letter from Marsilia, which had a little bit of Marsilia's blood in it. So Stefan went to her, figured out where the letter was. Then he showed up. And Mercy begged him to take Chad, the little deaf boy, out of the danger because she wanted Chad safe.
She said, take him to Adam or Sam. And he did it. Well, first he said, if I do this, you will forgive me for those people. We are not going to keep talking about this. And she agrees. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't blame him. Come on now.
Yeah, no, those people were going to die no matter what. Mercy shouldn't have blamed him in the first part. I understand where she was coming from. But like you were saying at the beginning of this, she didn't think 2 steps ahead. If she did, she would have realized those people would have died no matter what.
Right.
Stefan and Wolf just gave them the kind, break your neck really fast so you don't see and you don't know what's happening yet.
Right. So he did take them. And then, of course, the boy who knows sign language, but he doesn't speak. But obviously, he's able to tell them where to go. So they're all like, he's like, but it sounds like you don't need us anymore. She's like,
and Mercy's like, no, I need you. I want you. I need you.
I need you, but just not to kill them. But yeah, I still need you. I took care of business, but I have some other stuff I need some support with, basically. So.
Which is so wonderful because, in all of these books, Adam is constantly getting captured and he's the one put in a cage and Mercy comes in and saves the day. And for the first time, she was captured and put in a cage and she still saved herself.
I love that about her. She is, I'm telling you, this woman has the best luck on the planet. She is able, and she has some skill too, right? You need some skill to be killing people,
I was going to say, she has some really bad luck because of all the shit that's going down. But also, she has some good luck and she has some skill. And she has the walking stick.
Though, the bad luck. So the good luck is like just the walking stick and her friends, right? She just has some coincidences that just work out. But the bad luck, they're saying maybe it's a coyote thing. Like, it's chaos, so it's just part of your heritage that chaos finds you. Because they said that. Adam said it and Stefan said it. They're like, you're the only person that go one place and find, what I mean? Like chaos all of a sudden. And he said it didn't used to be this way. Now all of a sudden it just follows you everywhere you go. So,
but we learned that it's not just Mercy. It is James Blackwood. He has been plotting and scheming for decades. Yeah. And he's tied back in with Mooncalled and Gary.
He's been watching her for a long time. He wanted her after he lost when he figured out that there was another walker. He's always been aware of her. Like there was this huge plot on his part to get her.
He was having the ghosts go to Montana and spy on her when she was a child growing up with Bran and Samuel and all of them. And he knew stories that nobody else knew stories. Like he knew stuff because of the ghosts. Yeah. And so, 2 years ago or however long it was when Gary the werewolf approached this monster to be like, hey, I want to take on Bran. Will you help me? He's like, nope, I'm going to erase your memory so you don't remember this, but I'm going to implant an idea for you to create some kind of stun gun-like thing. Some weapons that will hurt werewolves. And he does. And that's the start of Mooncalled because...
Isn't that wild? Like, he was affecting her life for so long, and nobody had a clue. He was just in the background pulling strings.
Yes. Which makes him, again, the scary motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like the villains just keep getting scarier and scarier and more powerful and more evil and just more, like, I don't know, like that's a long game right there.
And I mean, he's been alive for centuries.
Yeah.
He had the walker for 50 years or whatever it was. And then he was like, all right, I need it again. I need to find the next one. Oh, here's a child. Let me figure out how to get her. But so I want to make sure it's...
Yeah. I guess and from his point of view, if he's so old, what's 20 years for her to grow up, right? Like,
exactly.
What's 20 years? I can wait.
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so what else? Is there anything? Oh, I want to talk about Chad. Chad was so cute.
So I don't really remember what happens to Chad, but in my heart, I wish that Samuel would just adopt him.
Aw.
I feel like he and Samuel would bond really well, and that would fill the hole in Samuel's heart. And I know that doesn't happen, but...
He goes off with the dad, his stepdad.
Yeah, I know.
Who he thinks this is regular. Well, he thought was his regular dad, his dad, until he found out in that way that he wasn't. But he was able to talk him down. The father was able to talk him down. He's like, hey, you're my kid. I was there when you were born. I've earned that, So he kind of redeemed himself. Because he seemed kind of like a shitty father, right? At first he seemed like a
shitty father.
Yeah.
But maybe some of that was James Blackwood controlling his influence, but
yes. And obviously he didn't believe in ghosts, right? He thought he had something else going on. But it's like Mercy said, dude, this world has werewolves and fae and me, and you don't believe in ghosts?
Exactly. You should believe in ghosts just because there's worse out there than ghosts.
Right. You should believe in anything mythical at this point. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, even when she tells, the kid about Stefan, and she's like, vampires don't like to know people know about them and stuff. And then, but Stefan's okay. Don't freak out. He's okay. But still, it's like, why wouldn't you? And the kid pretty much assumed he was a ghost. A vampire, excuse me. It's like all these other things exist. Why wouldn't a vampire exist? Why wouldn't ghosts exist? Why would, witches exist?
You just saw your wife get turned into a zombie. Like, shit is real in this world. It's terrifying and it's real.
But I think after he was forced to go get Mercy, I think that was the turning point for him. Because even in that point, he was like, you should run. This is not fair. It's not your problem. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think on a dime, when he realized that he could not control what he was doing, I think that changed his whole point of view instantly. And of course, his son was being captured. He had his son. So attitude changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrifyingly so.
Yeah.
Chad was such a brave, sweet little boy. And I hope we hear about him in a later book. I don't think we ever do again.
I don't think so.
But
yeah. So, I did see one review, and I kind of wanted your opinion on this because I do get what they're saying. And I wondered, okay, so let's see. On one hand, it references events from previous books, but it doesn't seem to matter. When Mercy does have repercussions from the last adventure, it doesn't seem to have major implications on the plot like it should have. The book seemed more like a filler story than it seemed to have little impact on the overall narrative. Do you think that's true?
No, I think this was the tie-up book for the first 3 books. This wasn't necessarily a filler. This was explaining, Gary the werewolf who set off the motions in Mooncalled. Yeah. He went to James Blackwood and figured out how to make these weapons because of that. Obviously the shit that went down in Bloodbound. These were the repercussions of that. Looking at Stefan and all of the torture he went through, that is a direct result of everything that happened in book 2. And even in book 3, Mercy was like, I'm scared the vampires are going to find out. I'm scared the vampires are going to find out. Well, they found out, and this is what happens. And it's not necessarily on her, because as we found out, this is what Marsilia wanted. She wanted Mercy to kill Andre. She wanted to, remove Stefan from her Seath because he was loyal, so he could protect her again from the other vampire who was, using his little minions to try and get rid of her. So it is the repercussions, but it's not like a direct repercussion on Mercy. She wasn't thrown in jail for killing Andre. She wasn't, tortured for killing Andre. That was on Stefan.
Yeah. I kind of get what they're trying to say, but I agree with you. Like, the author was trying to do a lot with this book. I feel like this is the end of the story arc, right?
Yes.
It's the end of it. She was trying to conclude this arc, and she successfully did so.
Yeah. Like, the first 3 books are so intertwined, and this is the one that ties them all up. Like, we have completely confirmed that Mercy is with Adam. Their relationship is pretty solid. They're together. They have the mate bond. That's been something they've been dealing with since book 1. And, we still have Samuel in the picture, but we still love Samuel. He has
a different role now. He
has a different role now.
2-person pack. They have a 2-person. He's totally different. And actually the pack, the mating bond, I loved how, like, we talked a little bit about how she didn't know what she was doing, and it was all willy-nilly when she opened herself up to the pack. But that is when their bond actually solidified. And I love how the author had Adam explain it. He was talking about, it's like, we have all the parts to the bridge, but it's not built.
Quite there.
It's not there. And then after she kind of like decided to take down those walls, then it just snapped into place and the world broke open. And then like everyone needed to hop on board to try to put her back in her body kind of thing.
Daryl and Warren both fainted, apparently, because they were trying to mentally shove Mercy back.
Like, get back, what are you doing? But I love that, though. And then at the end, of course, because of everything that happened, the bond was like temporary, suspended. Like, it was kind of not there for a while. It's like
I
sleeping.
felt like it was burned out. Like,
it was burnt out. Like
when
overload.
you push too hard, you gotta stop and reset. And then, it comes back at the very end, which was so cute.
It was cute because, they come out of seeing the Pirates of Penzance and she's like, oh, I agree. This guy was great. He's like, I didn't say that. She's like, you didn't? Oh, you're back.
You're in my head again.
You're in
It's
my head. Yes. Yay. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. I'm telling you, they are the cutest couple.
They are the cutest couple. I love them so much.
Me too. Man, I think we covered almost everything. What do you think?
I think we did. This was a great addition to the series. It was definitely the wrap up. You have so many pretty little tabs in your book.
Oh, yes, my tab. And I actually wrote on the tabs again because I can't write in books. So I wrote on the tabs. I'm like, oh, remember.
Was there anything you want to mention about the tabbing?
Let's see.
Or
you know what? I think. Oh, there was this part. Oh no, it was just stuff I like to remember. Like I make like little comments like jealous ! And crossbones. I don't know what else. Oh yeah, the door. The crossbones on the doors. Like that the vamps did. So like just different things to like jog my memory, really. I really like this process. I think I'll continue to do it with fantasy books. I won't do it with other types of books because I don't think it's that intense unless there's something notable that I want to remember. But there's the world building is so intense here. That's like the most amount of tabs is the blue for world building. So things that I might want to just peruse through and try to remember if it comes up again. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, I even made a little note here about Estella. That woman was crazy. She was screaming bloody murder.
She was crazy. I'm kind of glad she's gone.
Yeah,
But do you think her makers... Oh, yeah.
Interesting. So it was good stuff. I'm happy we're going to, outside of book 13, I'm happy we're going to put this on the shelf for a while, take a little break off, and be re-energized when we return to the world, I think.
Yes, for sure.
There is a such thing as too much of a good thing.
Oh, yes. I love Mercy so much, but I don't know if I could read all 13 books, like, back to back. It's a lot.
It is a lot. So, yeah. So I think we're done with this installment. What do you think?
I think we are.
Okay. So it's been a fun ride, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed these special episodes. Got something out of it. Share it with your other Mercy loving friends. Because we love Mercy here, and we have lots more episodes in our back catalog that you can listen to if you like. If you don't want to wait for us to revisit the world, you can go back in time and find the older episodes where we did our first reread of these books. So
yes.
All right, I think we're done. We'll end it there.
I think we're done.
That's all we have for today, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.